Yo, what's up everybody? Jerry with Minute Trading back at you with a weekend edition of an update from BBIG. I know I didn't get to post a video on Friday, but wanted to get one out to you before we start the trading week this week. I know it's going to be a little bit short because it's Thanksgiving, but still wanted to get that out there because we did have some news drops specifically on BBIG, so I wanted to get into that. But before I pull up all that information, don't forget to hit that like and smash that subscribe button down at the bottom of the screen. Helps people find the content and the channel, helps continue to grow the community. So let's recap where this thing finished on Friday. So Friday it was actually down 11 cents or 2.77%, and then started to break out of that descending wedge that I told you guys to keep an eye on. Okay, let me zoom out so you guys can see. Okay, so it looked like we had almost a four-test try, or I guess you could kind of say it was a four-test try. Like if you were to continue this up, it was pretty much a four-test try, and then we finally broke through. But this was a descending wedge that's been going on for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That was the 11th day on Friday. And then the after hours, we started ripping, which was good to see. And then we did have a little bit of a edge, so utilization had a little bit of a dip. Looks like we had some shares returned. Shares on loan also went down. Days to cover went down. It looks to me like we may have had somebody start to cover their position, which is interesting to see. Yeah, cost of borrow went down. Utilization went down. Pretty much everything dropped double digits. Free float on loan dropped. Yeah, everything dropped. So utilization, let me kind of pull this up so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Let's see. And if you guys ever if you have your own kind of Ortex deal, you can pull this information up also. You can also, if you haven't signed up already, you can actually sign. I think you get a 7-day trial. I think it's what I had. And then if you want to continue to have it, you have the ability to sign up for membership, or you can just cancel your trial. So, but utilization currently just under 86%, down 13.5% roughly. Cost of borrow hovering around 53.02%, down 8% there. Days to cover went from 0.7 to 0.5, down 21%. Shares on loan down almost 21%. Was at 41.81 million, currently at 33.11 million. Percent of free float on loan is currently around 30. Yeah, so just over 30%, and then down from 37.96%, down almost 21% there too. So we had all that decrease. Exchange reported short interest though is still up from the previous reported data from the, let's see. So this was as of the this was what was reported on the 9th. So this was this data right here. Now, their live updates, so 6.5% decrease, meaning that there were net return shares that were higher than the net borrow for BBIG specifically. Sorry, my brain's not working. So we had 8.44 million returned versus 6.28 million borrowed against, for a net borrow change of minus 2.16 million returned from what was previously let out. Current short interest of the free float is currently just over 26%, or excuse me, sorry, 22.5%. The estimated current short interest is just under 25 million. Cost of our minimum, so these rates went down big time. So cost of our minimum just under 0.5%. Cost of our average just under 30, and that max is just under 65% for that yearly interest. So where could I see this going? So if we go back and we retest 432, so pretty much I would say that level of resistance, it's actually really at like 430. So next after that is going to be 434, looks like kind of a small one. And then we have 448, let's call it 450. That's going to be a major one just based on what I'm seeing here. And then we have about 460. I think ideally though, if we can get up to let me zoom out. If we can get to like right in here. This was 480. I think if we can clear 480, we see $5. That's just because of how long it's been since it's been up to that point. I mean, we're talking since the end of October. So we're talking about a full month since this thing's been up that high. Or no, excuse me. It touched at the beginning. Yeah, so almost a month. So I'd say like 3 weeks. So, because it last hit up there on 11.8 was when it got that high. Went up to the intraday high, or excuse me, pre-market high was 550, and then it had a sell-off from there. But in terms of like staying above that range, I think that 480 mark is going to be key. I think if we can get a clean break over it and have everything kind of on our side with regards to like the MACD and the RSI, just in terms of that momentum, that bullish momentum, I think we definitely would be able to see $5. Because you'll start having buyers sort of step back in. But also jumping over to what I was going to bring up for you guys earlier, we had a catalyst come out from Seeking Alpha. And I know kind of all this stuff from the media, all these articles that are written, you kind of have to take them with a grain of salt, because there's some that, a perfect example for like AMC or GameStop, they'll write, super positive article, and then they'll immediately, a few minutes later post one that's trashing it, right? So just take what I say with a grain of salt when I'm reading through this. So this was posted, or actually, no, this is, hold on one second. See, this is interesting. So I didn't go back and check the date on this thing. So this article, it won't let me pull it up again, but this article was posted in the middle of October, and Webull just posted it up, which is interesting because it says that BBIG's price target based on, this article is around $40, right? So back on, this was on the 14th of October. So 14th of October was right here. So 14th of October, it went from like about $6, went up to $8.55 was when that article came out. So it's interesting that they're posting it again, something that's over a month old, unless they're expecting this thing to run again. So I'd be curious to see what comes out later this week. But I think it's kind of ridiculous that they would post an article from a month ago just to try to make it look like or seem like a catalyst for people to buy back in or feel like that there's FOMO, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe in BBIG in terms of a long-term play. I mean, I'm in it right now. I basically sold off a vast majority of my OCGN to buy back into this. So I'm holding, I don't know, a little bit over 1,500 shares or so. So, I mean, and I'm going to try to continue to add to that. So, but yeah, I mean, I really don't expect anything but this thing to hopefully get a reversal, because it really needs to. I want to try to find, let me see. So the last major headline was on the 19th. So this is 2 days ago. So this actually came from Venco Ventures. So it's going to release its financial results for the third quarter that ended September 30th. Oh, that's probably what it is. But they should have posted the right article. So they're going to release that data after market close on Monday, November 22nd. So this is kind of like a buy the hype potentially, but in any case, it's still, I mean, if they're expecting their revenue to have increased, you know, I think there's probably going to be a sell-off just because there's buy the hype, sell the news, right? Every single time I've seen a stock have that potential run up right before, it always takes a dip when the news is actually public, right? So just be forewarned, keep an eye on it. You know, if you're up, you know, 15, 20%, whatever the case is, don't be afraid to take profits and then wait for a dip opportunity to buy those shares back in. Because you'll be able to, one, increase your total share count, but also you'll be able to, with that, you'll increase your cost basis because you're buying for more shares basically at a discount from what you gained previously when you sold. So, but yeah, so there's going to be a call. Looks like there's going to be a conference call Tuesday, November 23rd at 8:30 Eastern, so 7:30 Central. They have a live call number. So this data is on their website. So if you want more information, you can go to investors.vencoventures.com to be able to see and access this stuff. But they'll have, you know, an access ID that you can use to get in. And they're also going to have a webcast on their investor page on their main website. So, but yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, I'm really excited to see kind of what happens. I think it's not a coincidence that you saw potentially some, you know, shorts covering their positions while these financial results also came out. So that tells me maybe they got wind of, you know, some good financials that are going to be released. And so they're basically kind of covering their ass to make sure that they're not going to get screwed in the long term. But overall, I think it's a good long-term play. Yeah. And I'm just going to continue to hold this thing until I, you know, see the gains that I want. So, but yeah, other than that, I will see you guys on the next video.